Hi, my name is Elna from elnacain.com, and for this video, I'm going to share with you how to write a blog post, or I'm going to really dive into how long it takes to write 1,000 words or 1,000-word blog post, and I'm going to show you the steps so that you can get it done in a reasonable time. Right? I do have a blog post over on my blog, elnacain.com, and I'll leave the link to this post in the description below, but let's just go through it and let's talk about this, how to write a blog post, or how long does it really take to write 1,000 words. I give you the answer right here that the typical time frame of writing 1,000-word blog post or article is about 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. But if you're new, I suggest it probably will take you closer to 3 to 4 hours. If you're new to online writing, if you're new to writing an article, a blog post, if you're a new freelance writer, you are going to take a little bit more time in certain areas of creating your blog post. And it's similar to me. This is what happened during my writing process. When I first landed my first writing job and those couple clients that I had, it typically took me up to 6 hours to write 1,300 words. Now I can whip out a 1,000-word article in about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer if it's a topic I'm not familiar with. I even have updated this process to even write faster. So I can write 4,000 words in about an hour. And I share that strategy in Write Your Way to Your First 1K. It's one of the newer lessons and a new process that I've created. But typically, if I don't use that process, it does take me around 45 minutes to write 1,000 words. A lot of this depends on your writing speed and process. I do suggest you take some writing tests. There is one, I think, Key Hero right here. You can take a typing test. Just click the button here and you can start taking the test. And doing these tests will help you become a more proficient typer, so you know where to place your fingers on which keys and whatnot. So let's go through how to write a blog post so that you can write 1,000-word blog post or article in about 1 to 2 hours. The first step to writing a blog post is to choose a writing topic. Of course, this seems obvious, but the topic you choose can impact the length of your article. Now, if your client gives you like free rein, then it's easier for you to sort of hone down and discover what type of content you want to create. And just for example, 1,000 words equals about 7.5 minutes of talking. So if you can talk about your topic for around 7.5 minutes or more, you're likely going to be able to write 1,000 words about it. So that's kind of a nice standard when you're thinking about your blog post topic. If you are pitching topics to your clients, that's something to consider if you can sit and talk about it. One of my newest clients wants me to pitch topics. So after I submit my topic and they pay me, I can go ahead and now pitch a new topic. When I'm deciding on the topics to pitch to, I pitch at least 4 or 5 different topics for the editor to choose. I make sure that I fully understand what I'm talking about. In the past, I made the mistake of writing a couple of blog post topics that I thought the client would like, but it wasn't something that I was familiar with. So for example, if I was doing something along the lines of paid advertising or PPC ads, that's something that is not very familiar with me, but I would pitch that topic, and I have in the past, to clients because I thought that would do well on their blog. And oftentimes they would pick something that I wasn't too familiar with. For me, my writing process lagged and I was spending more time researching on the topic and then more time on writing it and making sure that it sounded like I knew what I was talking about. So it really helps to know your topic inside and out. Now, the second part could take you the most time out of this whole how long does it take to write 1,000-word blog post or 1,000-word article. Doing research means you're providing the best and most accurate information to your readers, which in turn creates trust and loyalty for your freelance writing client. You can use tools like Ubersuggest. I have used it in the past. I now use a paid SEO tool, but you can use Ubersuggest or Keyword Surfer. That's a Chrome extension that you can use. You can also go to Pinterest to check out more about your topic, or even go to Google. So if we go to Pinterest, you can just start searching for some ideas. So for me, if I was to write a post about Instagram Reel ideas, I'm just going to type that in, Instagram Reel ideas, and see what comes up. So here I can find 10 Instagram Reel ideas. Here's 20 content ideas for Instagram Reels. There's a slight angle right here. So instead of finding the Reel ideas, I can find some content ideas. Again, this can help me figure out exactly where my post is going to go. Here's one that's specific to small businesses. I can tailor my content for my client to their clients. So if my client is B2B, then they are marketing to other small businesses, to other established brands or marketers. So I can say this is specific for marketers or specific to a type of industry, like a CRM industry. So doing this initial research can really help you tailor what you're going to write about. This is just solopreneurs, so business owners. It can also help you give you like the type of copy that people are using. So here is Bookstagram, if I can say that. Something like that if you're in that niche of book reviews or authors and things like that. Here's photographers. So you can get really niche to the type of client, the type of person that's going to be beneficial for these Instagram reel ideas. Entrepreneurs. So it just keeps on going and going and going. And this can really help me if I was going to write Instagram reel ideas. I really like the content angle. So I would really talk about different types of content ideas that would blend nicely as an Instagram reel. And then I would probably talk about how you can turn that idea into a video and what it would look like. And then you can definitely use Google. You can use Google Trends to find popular topics. And I can show you that quickly. If you type in trends, usually the first result here is Google Trends. So I was doing Instagram Reels is pretty new, so I'll do something like Instagram marketing just to see what's going on. And I'd like to do it probably for United States and I'd probably say for the past 5 years, just to see if we're on an upward tick or not. Looks like there was some a little bit here a couple years ago, not so much now. That's Instagram marketing. So let's do Instagram post. And there were some blips definitely over time. There is a slight uptick right here. Using something like Instagram post ideas or Instagram posting for reels, something like that would catch the attention for Google traffic, would go along with the upward tick of trends here, would do well for my client. Next, on how to write a blog post or how to write 1,000 words quickly is to create that outline. I never write a blog post for a client and I never write a blog post for my sites without a solid outline. I'm not just talking about just slapping on the subtopics. I'm talking about slapping on the subtopics and writing some pointers of what you're going to talk about within each subtopic. So it says here, as you dive into the actual writing, you should determine an outline for your article. This will not only help you keep your content organized and readable, but it will also help you organize your writing as well. So as you write your blog post, you'll know exactly what piece of information to move on to next. This is important, or you're just going to spend too much time going off on tangents. I say your outline should include the headings you intend to use to break up your content. And it's also a good idea to incorporate some SEO keywords in those subtopics. I do talk more about that in my Fast Track to SEO Writing Masterclass. Make sure to click on the link in the description below to learn more about that. If I was going to do an outline, I would come here to Google Docs to start my draft and start deciding on a title. So maybe something like this, where I like the content ideas angle, but I want to include sort of like this trend of Instagram post, that term. So 25 Instagram posts for reels. Get content ideas for the month. So something like this would be nice. I would play around with different titles for my clients. So I might add another one here, for example. So here's one that's specific to an audience, Etsy owners, and I have 25 content ideas for Instagram Reels. So I can do something like that and have the client decide what they like the most. And then for my outline, I would go into my topics. My first subtopic would be Reels for marketing, and I would get some stats on Reels, and then I would provide examples. I would provide some popular Reel examples and maybe put a screenshot or link to those, just so people understand that it can help you with your business. It's a true marketing channel, and my examples will show how businesses are using Reels and how that's helping them grow their Instagram presence and their overall strategy for their brand. So I have my 25 content ideas for your Reels, and this is where I would go to each one and break them down. These will all be H3s. So in my outline, I would take the time to figure out what those are and make sure to provide examples of those. So it'd be like telling a joke would be one. And then maybe number 2 would be, different ones like behind the scenes, and just sort of make it for Etsy owners. So telling a joke, behind the scenes, new creations. And I would just go down the list and make sure I have examples, right? So that's how I would build out my outline. And there you go. And now it's time to write and edit the post. So as I was saying, everything is all there. All the information that you need is there. You did all that initial research time to create the outline with all the points that you've decided. And now you just have to write it. I would definitely time this part of your process to see how long it really does take you to write or type your blog post. So when push comes to shove and you're short of your word goal mark, you can always do further research to see if there's an aspect of your topic that you overlooked, or you can just accept that your article or blog post is going to be shorter than you anticipated. What I'm saying is, if the client says you need to write 3,000 words and you only wrote 22,450 words, I would definitely go back to your post and see where you can add more information. A great suggestion is to source an interview. Get a quote somewhere to fill in that section. Something that's great is to use a book that you've read or that you've seen online that you can get some information on. In my blog post, to find credible sources for research, I have been updating this to even give you more links to different credible sources. So I think over here, let's keep going down. Here, Google Books. So I have a source here where you can, maybe it's something about Instagram, see what books are available. Instagram marketing. This is for using photos. And so I can look and see, and if this is a book that I can get on my Kindle, then I'll grab that. You know, here it is, some Instagram secrets. I can quote Victor Marco from his book and then in my blog post, and then that will be more credible for the client. Like, oh, I have actual expert interviews here, expert quotes from different authors, from different coaches and things like that, where you can pull and gather to fill in your blog post. And again, that all just makes it easier and faster to write, right? The next part is to title it, of course. Look over your title and then optimize it for ranking potential if that's what your client wants. So going over the title again, making sure it actually fits what you wrote, changing it if you need to, and adding some keywords. Again, I do have my fast track to SEO writing that really walks you through that process. And if you want a deep dive on how and where to place those keywords in your content, I show you in Freelance Blogging in a Weekend. All right, let's go to how to structure your post to reach your goal word count. This section is for writers who have clients that give you a specific word count for your content. I've been fortunate to have most of my clients not give me a word count, but if they do, it's a loose word count. My most recent client said 1,500 words to 2,000. That's great. I can work with that. But if it's a specific, like they only want 2,500 words, then make sure that you know how many words to put in your introduction, how many words to put in your body, and how many words to put in your conclusion. Break that up, and then you can start assigning word counts for the different sections there. For instance, the introduction of your article is typically 2 to 3 paragraphs. That sets the reader up for what they're about to learn, so it doesn't have to be that long, under, let's say, 200 words. Likewise, your conclusion and your call to action can be short as well. So when it comes to organizing the word count of your blog post body, simply divide how many words you want in there by how many headings you have. Bear in mind that this is just a loose structure and that some sections of your article or blog post will require more information. It's a great way to keep yourself on track of staying within your target word count, whether it's 500 words, 1,000 words, or 2,000 words. Good rule of thumb is to allocate 10% of your word count to your introduction and 10% to your conclusion. And that leaves about 80% to focus on the article's content. So this is what it would look like. If you were to write 500 words, you would write 50 words for your introduction, about 400 words for your body, and about 50 words for your conclusion. Similarly, for 2,000 words, it's about 200 for introduction, 1,600 for your body, and 200 for your conclusion. Do realize that some 2,000 word blog posts may contain enough information that the word count of the introduction and the conclusion can be significantly smaller. All right, let's look at long form writing. Now, over the years, I've been writing more words per blog post for my freelance writing clients. In the beginning, it was around 1,800 words. Then it gradually moved to 2,500 words. And now I can write between 7,000 to 10,000 word guides, not only for my own blogs, but for my clients as well. How long does that take me? It can take me anywhere from 10 hours to 25 hours to write very long content, starting at 7,000 words. That's why this year I've decided to pare that down. I don't have much time now, and to really cap it at 2,000 word content, like 2,000 words for blog posts for my clients. Content that's between 2,000 to 5,000 words will take me around 3 to 8 hours to write and edit. I am getting faster, like I said, but 2,000 words is just sort of like the sweet spot for me. And I do encourage you to check out Freelance Blogging in a Weekend. It really is my writing course, my premium writing course. All right, and then just to wrap it up, some tips to write faster. It's always a good idea to stick to your wheelhouse. As I was saying, when I was pitching to clients, I sometimes pitched content ideas that was not really in my wheelhouse, but I thought it would help the client themselves. I thought the client would want that from me. It was much harder and it took a long time to write that content. So ideally, if you have a writing niche, find clients in that writing niche and write content in that writing niche, and you will write faster. Build a content calendar. One of the biggest time eaters when it comes to writing articles is coming up with that topic, so you can be proactive by setting yourself up with a calendar full of articles. I do have a link to my freelance writing planner that I use. It's in the description below. And I have a little saying, write drunk, eat sober. When you're writing, focus on getting the information out first, no matter how imperfect it is. So when you keep stopping to edit, you use up valuable writing time and you stop the flow. This is very hard for me, but I'm learning to be better at continuing to type even though I've misspelled a word. Make sure that you're grabbing your images last. Those are one of the last things to do. Even adding keywords. If that doesn't come naturally to you when you write, adding that last. I do suggest to come up with your headline last. That's something that I personally don't do, but it can help you if you struggle with just coming up with a really good optimized headline. I would then focus that as one of the last things that you do. And just know that the more blog posts you write, the more articles you write, the more the entire process will become second nature. All right, everyone. If you need more help with figuring out your writing niche so you can start writing a blog post, make sure to pick up my Booming Niches Guide. I have over 80 niches for you to look through, get some ideas if this is the writing industry that you want to write about. So make sure to pick that up. It's a free guide for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.